Hey everyone, it's me, Chris from Body Nova Fitness Coaching, and I'm here with your tips on that answer the questions on why you are having problems gaining muscle. Okay, and with some of these, I understand with a lot of the people, the strategies have been passed down from person to person over years and stuff like that. And sometimes when information is passed down, important elements are left out. But with that being said, okay, the first tip is a low protein intake. Okay, when a lot of the times when I talk to clients, they'll say, "Oh yeah, I eat all day long. Why can't I gain muscle? Why can't I eat all day long?" You know, and then you start looking at what they're eating, and it's usually a high amount of carbs and a very low amount of protein. And especially those, the real skinny guys that just, because they just tell them all you have to do is just eat a whole bunch of fast food, and you can get your calories up. Yeah, you can get your calories up, but you want to gain muscle. You don't want to gain fat. So you want to make that. You don't want 1,000 calorie deficit, because you can't do anything. Your body can't do anything with that extra but turn it to fat, which will make your further gaining muscle harder. With that being said, the rules for those that exercise that the rules for those that exercise are different than they are for those that don't exercise. So that zero point 0.8 grams per kilogram of weight, recommended by the RDA, that's not meant for gaining muscle. That's basically surviving, not thriving. To gain muscle, you're going to need to thrive. So unless your body fat is really high, you're going to want to start, and body fat and weight are really high. You're going to want to start at a gram per pound of body weight. Okay. So, and that's not weight. You're not going to grab a 125 125 gram chicken breast and think you're done for the day. That's area of measurement. That's weight of 125 grams. That's not giving off 125 grams of protein. That's only going to give off about maybe 30, because 125 grams is about 5 ounces. Okay, roughly pretty close to 5 ounces. With that being said, protein intake, you're going to want to be at a gram per pound of protein. Okay, and you can go as high as 1.5 grams per pound, and that's a sliding scale. So if you've been at 1 gram per pound, you don't have to go straight to a gram and a half. You can go 1.25 grams, 1 gram and a third, then 1.5 grams, some sort of breakdown like that when you're trying to increase it. And even though the carbs spare the amount of protein, you're still going to need a certain amount to get the job done. So the first one is a low protein intake. Now, next is going to be something that most of you have never thought of. It's going to be your digestion. Okay. They say you are what you eat, but in reality, you are what you absorb. So there could be a lot of reasons why your stomach acid is neutralized or low. It could be due to stress. It could be due to eating, because there are certain things that you could eat that or drink, that can neutralize your stomach acids, and you're not going to break down your foods. And for some people, that makes it harder for them to eat frequently enough to get their protein intake or get all their food in, is because they don't break down their foods like they should. So there's two possible remedies to this. A lot of people will use HCl, HCl tablets, and they'll take HCl tablets with their meal, and that will boost their stomach acid. All right. Me personally, that did not work so well for me. I've known people that it did work well for, but it didn't work so well for me. What worked well for me was enzymes. Okay, so I would take enzymes with all of my meals. And what an enzyme does, it makes it so you operate using less stomach acid. So lowers the amount of energy that's required for digestion, or in real life, it's anything. Whatever chemical reaction that needs to go on, the enzyme will lower the amount of energy required to make that happen. So you just take enzymes with your meals, and that will help you break down the food so you can get all the nutrients and absorb them and things like that, and life goes much better in regards to that. So going on to the next, bad workout programs, and there's a lot of this. You think of it, I see a lot of the memes and stuff like that going around, and it's like, yes, getting results is 80% nutrition and 20% training. It's like, so basically you can mean to tell me you can flunk working out or not work out at all, which would be zero, right? No working out would be zero, and you will get 80% on your way without any decent working out habits? Yeah, right. Okay. So what that tells me is those types of people do not understand how to maximize their training. Okay. So with that being said, bad workout programs, or what have you changed? People will lift with the same sets and rep schemes forever, or the same exercises forever, the same rest periods forever. I have made a few posts on what they call progressive overload, and that's 6 to 7 ways of variables that you can manipulate to shake your body up to make sure that you're progressing. So it's something to think about when you're programming your workouts and stuff like that. And also, is your workout doing what it's supposed to do? So there was a person, I talked to, and he always thought he had to lift really, really heavy, to gain muscle mass, like 5 reps or less. And that was their way of thinking, because, powerlifter types can get big. And powerlifters, aren't, as strong as they are, they're not the biggest, most muscular athletes. Bodybuilders don't lift that heavy all the time. The smarter ones will mix it up, but the researchers show between 6 and 12 reps are better for gaining muscle mass. So that's something else that you want to think of. Getting a well-designed workout program, or getting on well-designed workout programs, or even changing it. Okay, there's a lot of information out there with great programs there. All right. Frequency is too low. Now that kind of goes in with the workout programming, because as you go on with time, you adapt. So let's say you're working out 4 times a week, hitting each muscle groups once, okay? And that'll be fine in the beginning, but what will happen is you'll need to change something, and frequency is one of those things. And one of the things I'll do with clients is, if they're broken into 5 times per week with 5 separate workouts for all their body parts, I might change it to 3, and instead of taking a week between hitting a certain muscle group, I try to speed that up to 5 days. And there's research that will show that even if the volume isn't the same every workout, that there's advantages to gaining muscle and getting stronger when you increase the frequency of the workouts. So that's another point. All right. Body fat is too high, and this is another thing, because they have the concept of dirty bulking, which is just basically eating a bunch of everything and anything under the sun to get your weight. As long as your weight goes up, you're good. Well, in a lot of cases, that's a dumb strategy, because if your body fat is high, you don't have a good tolerance for carbohydrates and things like that. So they're less likely to go to muscle where they're supposed to, and they're more likely to be stored as fat. So if that was the case, what you may need to do is you might need to get your body fat down to a healthy range, or keep it within a healthy range, while trying to gain muscle. And if once it gets in the healthy range, instead of having a whoppingly large overfeeding or a surplus of calories for your nutrition, you might need to keep it smaller, and then make a note of it and raise it every couple of weeks. It might be 200 calories. Go for 2 to 3 weeks, raise it another 200 calories, and you're keeping track of it, and you're slowly raising it instead of trying to make it something big, which immediately just starts getting your body to store it as fat. So that becomes very important, because if your body fat is high, you're more likely to store stuff as fat. And you don't want to go on this seesaw. A lot of people go there on the seesaw where they're storing body fat. I mean, they're trying to bulk. They make a whole bunch of extra body fat, and then have to cut all this fat down to only find out they gained like 1 or 2 pounds. Very common, very common. Matter of fact, a lot of the higher level bodybuilders, they're not letting their weight get as far out of control as traditionally in the past. You know, they traditionally did in the past, because it was easier for them to have to keep control over their gains and their physique. You know, with a lot of the women that are competing in physique sports, they're usually not getting more than 10 pounds over their competition weight. All right, so with that, Tin Man syndrome, I've talked about this before. The Tin Man from the Wizard of Oz, he had no heart. Okay, so every time he was under the weight and he was faced with a challenge, you know, he ran from the challenge. And that's what a lot of people do with the weightlifting. They're afraid of people seeing them fail. They're afraid of failing, the weight's falling on them. And I mean, I've had it too. And you just have to learn how to control your failures. I mean, you know, instead of as you're up here and the weight's gonna fall on you like this, you just can't. When it's not gonna go, you just have to just turn them in and control them, and accept that that loss, so you can come back the next day stronger. Because, like earlier mentioned, the body's not gonna give you anything that you haven't worked for. So that's gonna become really important. You can't be a Tin Man. You know, you're gonna have to do weights that are appropriate for the rep ranges that you select that help you gain muscle. You can't, that's not something you can run from. That's a non-negotiable fact there. You can't dance around that. And if you could, you definitely can't dance around it forever. It's going to be a short period of time. You're eventually going to have to move weights that correspond to the rep ranges that help you gain muscle. All right. Last but not least, manage your stress and your lifestyle. Okay. High stress lifestyle, you know, people have problems sleeping, high cortisol, lower testosterone levels, you know, and, you know, with bad sleep, most of the problem is most of your repair and recovery of your body is completed when you're sleeping, you know, happens when you sleep. So you will need to make sure you get some good quality sleep. You know, so that you can gain muscle, and then also, you know, keep from getting fat, because that also helps you with your lowering your body fat too. So and there's a bunch of different reasons and strategies that can be used to help with your sleep, but that's something that you definitely should address, and a lot of people don't address. You know, is their sleep and their lifestyle. You know, learning how to relax as opposed to go hard and burn the candle at both ends all the time with your training and you know, your recovery. You know, you really have to make sure that your recovery is in place, not just with sleep, you know, nutrition, supplements, and things like that. So it becomes very important if you're trying to gain muscle and or gain a lot of muscle, especially in a short period of time.